Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us again for another edition of Coffee and Conversation with the Greater Convention and Visitors Bureau. We always look forward to these every week to provide updates to you, our partners, and to also highlight some key news, updates, trends, anything that we can share. We are happy to help elevate and share with all of you. So thanks again for joining us. My name's Allie Bibeau. I'm the Senior Director of Partnership over at the CVB, and it's very much my pleasure to be available to you anytime to help you with any of your partnership needs. We continue to have the Miami Shines program running through the end of October, so whether you're a hotel, an attraction, a dining partner, or other, we have some great opportunities to get special offers out there and encourage staycation business and continue to drive locals into our businesses, as well as area folks and drive market folks, and even people are flying in. So we're excited as things continue to rebound. Today we're going to use the chat for a variety of resources. So I'll be sharing a few links in the chat as we go, including our research dashboard. Our presenters will be sharing some of their information and resources, and I encourage you as partners to share your contact information and use it as a way to ask questions. Today we will also be doing some fun trivia. We had some fun trivia the other day with our Coral Gables friends, and I thought that we should continue the fun trend, and we have some great prizes, so be sure to pay attention because the trivia will be interwoven into the presentations today and will be asked at the end, and the person with the first correct answer sent to me on the chat will win the prize. So be sure to stay tuned and listen up. So thanks again for joining us. It is really exciting for us as a downtown office entity to be able to work closely with the Miami DDA. So we have Christina Crespi from the executive director there to give updates on all sorts of new projects going on downtown. And before they give a more generic high-level overview, we're going to be talking with one of the newest developments that's coming to downtown from the Cervera Group, and it is the Nativo project. So we have Ali Cervera from their sales director from Nativo Miami, and Alicia Cervera, the managing partner from Cervera Real Estate, who's going to be giving a presentation on that project, which is really fantastic. I'm excited to learn more and see even more than I've already learned. And of course, if you have any questions, put them up on the chat. Following their presentation, we will go ahead and turn it over to our friends at the Miami DDA to share their updates, and towards the end, we'll get to the Q&A and the fun trivia questions. So that said, again, thank you for joining us today, all of our speakers and all of you today. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Allie, I think from here. And Allie, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so very nice to be with you guys all here today. As Allie mentioned, the other Allie, we're working on a new project in downtown called Nativo Miami. And I just, I think it's exciting. I see some of the companies that you guys are all with here just on the screen of what I was able to preview. And I think that there are going to be definitely a lot of synergies, and we're all kind of looking to see downtown continue to grow and evolve. So just to share with you guys a little bit about what we're doing, let me pull up here on the screen a little bit of a presentation so you guys can understand a little bit the vision and kind of philosophy behind Nativo. So Nativo, the name of the project itself is, our concept was to kind of bring people that are visiting our downtown Miami and have them experience downtown Miami like we know, like the locals may have. So the concept was for people to be able to stay at Nativo and really live and experience the place as a local. And so from that to that end is where the name of the building comes from. And the way that you're able to accomplish this, obviously, when you think of a condo building, you normally don't think of people coming on a vacation or staying there, is that we are actually the first purposely designed, built, and licensed building for home sharing. So this project was conceived to be kind of a hybrid between home and hotel, if you will. You can live there 365 days a year, and you can also rent the residences on a nightly basis or anything in between. So you have kind of all of the best items. You get, full kitchens, full washer dryers, everything that you would want in a home. But then you also have like a la carte services available because there's a hotel on property. And if this is a second home, a pied-à-terre, or a property that is just used as a rental type of property, you can rent it out on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to take advantage, obviously, of the higher short-term rental rates that you see typically, as opposed to having long-term contracts. And we really, I think you're going to see in the presentation that everything in the project is really thought through to create a very warm and homey experience. You can see in this page some of the elements. Obviously, the location is amazing, but the design is really key, because typically with Airbnb properties, what you see, or Airbnb type short-term rental type properties, is that you don't have that kind of consistency that you want when you go to a hotel. Sometimes people travel and they stay at hotels just because you don't want to have to think about, like, what is it going to be like? Is it going to be clean? Or is it going to be well maintained? All of these things that, we all work so much that you don't have time to take on an additional research project to figure out if your short-term rental is actually what it's supposed to be. At Nativo, we're going to kind of like check all those boxes. Every unit comes fully finished and furnished, and we're going to make sure that all of the residences have a very high-end luxury feel and are maintained like you would expect of a hotel. So it's kind of bringing together best of both worlds. And for owners, they can, rent the property short-term, long-term, or live there in whatever format they prefer. We've seen, obviously, that, Airbnb kind of revolutionized what's happened with people's travel. There, as much as 1 in 4 Americans, and I think with COVID, even more people are looking at short-term rentals versus traditional hotel stays. And we love our hotel partners. We have a hotel on property. And unfortunately, with everything that's going on, it's a little terrifying. But there is a tremendous amount of engagement. And people with families often say that that's the main reason they'll go towards an Airbnb type property. So here we're kind of like evolving that kind of hospitality experience, if you will, and creating almost like a home hotel. Location in the heart of downtown, in the center of the DDA's area. We're right behind the Freedom Tower, across from all of the major tourist drivers in downtown, right next to Miami World Center, across from the American Airlines Arena, 2 blocks from the port, 2 blocks from the Brightline station, walking distance, of course, from the Adrian Arch, from Bayside, from, all of the wonderful museums that we have now in downtown. So really, it's an ideal location with incredible connectivity for someone who's coming to visit Miami. You can see here what the building is going to look like. And it's right really across from Bayside, almost directly right behind the Freedom Tower on the Metromover station. So very easy for people to get around on the Metromover, to jump over to City Center, to go to the museums. If it's, if someone doesn't want to walk, which everything is extremely walkable in our downtown, they can jump on public transit or take an Uber to wherever it is that they need to go. We are going to have an on-site management option to take care of those rental properties for everyone who buys, because managing a short-term rental is a full-time job. Whether someone's coming in, you need to give them the keys, they're checking out, you need to have the unit cleaned, but the toaster doesn't work. All of those things that, turn your like very happy, peaceful life into a complete nightmare. We're going to have kind of a turnkey solution of a company on site that's going to take care of all of that. And technology is a big part of that solution. We're going to have an app where people can, see how their property is doing day to day. You can see like an earnings portal that shows you how many nights your unit's been rented, a demand calendar that says, this weekend and this weekend in the month of March, the rental rates are double. Maybe if you're planning a vacation, you pick like the less expensive weekend so that you can make the most when you're not there. There's so many events in downtown Miami that this kind of demand calendar is, I think, very helpful for people that are not living in the country and, want to come and maybe let their property be rented during Miami Open or during the boat show or during Ultra or whatever it may be. We're going to promote the properties on any and all home sharing platforms across the board. We have a fantastic team behind architecture and design. Really, Arquitectónica created the vision for this building. They've done so many other iconic buildings in the city and abroad. And their idea for the building was to create kind of something that was very, true to what would have been in this location. So they created this kind of very close to the Port of Miami, right? Very reminiscent of what might have been there 100 years ago, this warehouse feeling base pedestal to the building, so that if you walk up to it, it felt like it could have been there always. And then a very modern tower on top, so that you have obviously a lot of glass and beautiful city views throughout, from the hotel to the residences. Urban Robot is doing all of our interior designs. They've done, you know, different food halls around the city, including Centrale and City Center. They've also done different hospitality projects, including the W Hotel in South Beach. They're a really great company, and they have done all the design for all the common areas, and they're doing all the design for the residences. So you know that we have really top interior designers that are going to be curating every, you know, detail in the residential units. This is a look at how this is a rendering of our kitchens. We have obviously full size kitchen model in our sales office, and a unit, how they will look finished and furnished. Bathroom finishes, of course. But I think that what's very exciting, obviously, about the building too is, you know, just how nice, how high end all of the amenities are. We have 70,000 square feet of amenities, including, you know, almost a 20,000 square foot gym, a 40,000 square foot social club, and pool area, and then like another 10,000 co-working square foot co-working area. That's an exclusive amenity to all residents, and there's going to be memberships as well. So this is the lobby. We also have offices in the building. There's a separate lobby that takes people to the offices. But Nativo Social, which I mentioned, has a co-working area for residents, people that come and stay on the property as tourists or guests, and potentially the members that will be involved. So there's areas where you can work, you can reserve spaces for meetings. If you're on a trip with your family and you want to rent a small office for a week or two, you can do that here. The social is going to be completely, Ali and I were talking earlier about how exciting it is that we have LDV that's going to be managing all the F&B on all the food and beverage on property. So they've turned this, when they gave me the concept for this space, it was just so amazing. They said 1 part standard poolside over here, 1 part Soho House, like tapas and drinks on the inside, and then another part like Juvia Sunset Bar and dinner to the west. And I was just like, what could be better than those 3 components? So we have a great partner. They're bringing to life a very dynamic and well thought out dining experience for the, you know, largest component of the social club, and that's going to be in this area here. And you can see the reception for the social club is stunning. That connects you up and down. This is that restaurant with the tapas I spoke about, the area right off of that, which is more of a lounge space. Beautiful outdoor dining to the west with the sunset just off of it, with a beautiful sunset bar. A speakeasy that's going to have kind of like that nightlife, a little bit more intimate. And all of this area that I've mentioned does have these accordion nano walls, so it does all kind of transition from indoor to outdoor and has a lot of fresh air circulation. So the advantage, this was actually part of the design pre-COVID, but the advantage of not yet being under construction is that, you know, all of these items are going to make the building really cutting edge and, you know, ready for hopefully what will never come again as another pandemic, but potentially ready for that. The poolside area here, and then of course our great gym, which is, like I mentioned, almost 20,000 square feet with a spa, with lockers, all of this equipment. And like I mentioned, all of these residences come fully furnished and finished, and we have residences starting from 350,000. So the price point is very accessible. This is a photo of our gym. And then just a little overview on the floor plans. I'm not going to go into the floor plans, but just to give you guys an idea of the layout of the building. Yeah. So I don't know if we have any questions. I will stop, I guess, now sharing my screen.
Great, thank you, Ali. It is fantastic, and I know that we'll have questions as we proceed through. I know I have a couple that I'll definitely want to ask, but I do want to go ahead and ask our friends from the Miami DDA, Christina Crespi, to give an update on all things downtown area district, from the entertainment district to Brickell and and east and west and all those great things. So I guess we'll go ahead and transition over to that team, and then we will come back for any final comments and questions. So again, if anyone does have questions, feel free to start putting them up on the chat, and you may want to keep an eye on the questions too, so you're ready. I see some coming in already. So let me see, Christina, there you are. Let me bring you up on the spotlight. Good morning, Christina, how are you? You're still on mute, so let me unmute.
Yeah, there you go.
It takes a minute. Good morning, Christina, welcome, welcome, and thank you again. And thanks to Kim Hills on your team for kind of being our behind the scenes organizer. So thank you, Kim.
Yes, no, thank you. I think she's on the call here somewhere. But thank you for having me. So happy to be part of this chat this morning. Give you a kind of brief overview of what the DDA has been working on during pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, right? So a lot of you know who the Downtown Development Authority is, but for those of you that don't, we have a 15-member board. I'm the executive director, and we have a team of about 26 to 30 people that manage the day-to-day operation of the Downtown Development Authority. And so over the course of the last 10 years, our population has more than doubled to 100,000 residents. So the focus of the DDA has really been around quality of life issues, ensuring that we are taking care of our residents, but also taking care of our visitors during the time that they come see downtown Miami. So we've been working on a lot of initiatives to help clean up the area and make it so that it's welcoming for our almost now 7 million visitors that come visit downtown. Pre-pandemic, we would have a daily population of about 250,000 people. So a lot of what we do is promote transit options and things of that nature to provide an ease to get around downtown. I would say now post-pandemic, and now that we're kind of coming into recovery, we've been doing so many different things to try to help our local businesses. We very early on realized that it was going to be a major challenge for downtown. And so our board has been very supportive in allocating funds to help our local businesses. We were able to prepare different grants for local businesses, retailers and whatnot that needed assistance during the time. We created a task force of business community members to help navigate all the various programs that were coming out of the federal government and the state for assistance. And so we were able to help about 80 businesses during that early time when the pandemic kind of started. And so really proud of the team to be able to do that. Many of you may have watched and participated in the David Guetta United at Home event, the fundraiser that was held at the Icon. We helped plan that event. It was a very successful event. We got beautiful footage of our city, about 20 million people watching, and we were able to raise about $400 million for Feeding South Florida locally, which was an incredible, incredible event. So we're really excited about that. And wanted to also kind of continue bringing those virtual experiences at home to people. So we decided to launch a virtual DJ series where we highlighted local DJs from the different clubs that would have been playing in downtown during that time. And they basically would take over our Instagram account every Friday about happy hour time for an hour, sometimes 2 hours if the DJ was really enjoying it. And it was a really fun time. We did it for about 4 months. We just ended the series. But we're working towards some other things that I'll mention further down the line around that. But ongoing projects that may interest the group, we're still working towards a Biscayne Green project. So that project is the parking lots in the middle of Biscayne Boulevard that we have been looking to repurpose as a linear park eventually. And so we're undergoing a study with FDOT to see if that's possible in reducing a lane of traffic, which would also help with the flow of traffic in that area. And so that's a very big project that's moving forward through this study. We're also continuing to promote and piece together our Baywalk. We have 2 missing links right now in our 5-mile linear park. So that Baywalk project is really important for both hotels and condos. It's a great amenity for our community, for everybody in the community to enjoy our beautiful bay. And so we're working towards finalizing our Baywalk and really connecting those 2 missing links so that we can have a contiguous path. We're also working towards a major renovation for Flagler Street, about $27 million. It's a project in partnership with the city the county and ourselves to be able to repurpose Flagler Street to a eventual festival street. Well, they will widen the sidewalks, even out the road so that you'll be able to close that street eventually for events and whatnot. So very excited to have that project start. We're hearing most likely in December. But that being said, that project, that's our oldest street in downtown. So there's some challenges there, but we're getting towards a groundbreaking soon. So we're excited about that opportunity and what that's going to mean for the Central Business District in particular. Re-energizing the Central Business District has really been my focus since I became director in February. Also, the Underline is almost ready to go in Brickell. They have a soft opening in a couple weeks and officially opening in November. So that's a very exciting amenity that's coming into the Brickell area. The Underline will be a 10-mile linear park and an urban trail that will link the land that's vacant under the Metro Rail. So excited about that. So lots of really neat projects in the works. But talking about events that we're preparing for now that we are in recovery mode and really trying to re-energize our city and bring back the economy, slowly and safely, most importantly, safely. We are going to start launching our downtown movie night series in the park, at Museum Park again. That'll start in November. So we'll have socially distanced circles where you can sit with your family and watch a movie out under the stars. Hopefully the weather cools down by then and it will be nice to actually sit outside. We're also considering doing a Halloween event, something around, driving cars through an area where the kids can pick candy up, since it seems like trick-or-treating this year will not be encouraged because of the pandemic and all of the risks around that. So we're looking at doing something fun for our local residents in the area during Halloween. And then also working towards Miami Art Week activations in December, what would have been Art Basel. We really recognize that we do have our local artists here and we do have a very culturally dense community here locally. And so we are going to work hard to program the CBD with various different forms of art during that time. So really excited about that project. But in the meantime, we've been, our downtown ambassadors, their orange shirts, some of you may have seen them, and our DET team, our downtown enhancement team, which are formerly homeless individuals that we employ to help be part of the solution to homelessness, right? They're the ones that are cleaning our streets. They're the ones that are out there greeting folks. And most importantly, they're out there handing out our masks. I don't know if you all have seen them, but they're a signature mask. I have one around here somewhere I can put on in a second. But they're a smiley face, really just trying to encourage happiness during this very difficult time, but also providing masks to anybody that's walking around in downtown that does not have a mask. And so our ambassador team are handing out masks on the daily to make sure that people are safe. They also clean and sanitize all the various different public spaces in downtown. So that's been great. We also have a video that we can show if we have some time that kind of highlights what they're doing as a way to market the city and bring business back. Let's see what else I have here. We also are expanding our public bathroom program. We'll be adding 3 additional bathrooms throughout downtown that will be open to the public. The bathrooms have been highly utilized, not only by, unfortunately, the homeless people, but also people that are visiting downtown and shopping or going to a restaurant and not having anywhere to go. So we are actually adding 3 bathrooms in the area of the CBD, which is another great program. And then we launched a Go Local, Go Direct, right, to help our restaurants. We partnered with the FIU Food and Wine Festival early on in the beginning of the pandemic to assist the restaurants in need. And we were able to launch that program pretty early on. And we were able to get about $180,000 in grants to our local restaurants through that program, which has been extended through the county. So if there are any restaurants on the call that need that information, we can provide the link to that. We also have done 3 courses with our restaurants as well. It's a COVID safety and requirement course. We partnered with FIU, the School of Hospitality, to do that in the city, where we provide a free program. It's about 2 hours long for any restaurant, really any business that wants to learn about the various precautions, safety precautions, cleanliness products and things of that nature, and how to approach your patrons on safely about wearing a mask and things of that sort. And so that course is taught through a webinar with an FIU professor. There were 3 courses. We had about 60 participants per course, I'll say. But now the webinar is actually up on our website. There's a link you can just click on, watch it for your own business. It provides some good insight. And then at the end, you can take a quick quiz, which you'll get a certificate or a clinger from us, basically, that you can put on the window of your establishment that shows that you're safe and that you've taken this course. So it's also a way to market the businesses. So that's really exciting program. It's been highly successful. And also working closely now with Uber Eats to help launch and promote our restaurants during this difficult time. We also helped establish the outdoor cafe program. So the DDA has purchased umbrellas, tables and chairs, the barricades, really just to get the restaurants what they need and not have to put on the added burden during this time of the pandemic, so that they're able to serve at 50% capacity. Now they can do 100% capacity with social distance. But it's been a really neat experience to see how quickly the city has been a great partner in pushing those permits forward within a day or two. And we are able to roll out those barricades very quickly. And we've been able, I think now we have about 40 restaurants that we've been able to help through that program. So that's been great. Downtown Miami, I would say our community as a whole is a really resilient community. So, we were able to bounce back from the Great Recession, from several hurricanes throughout the years, and now this. And I really feel that if we can come into this recovery safely, with the social responsibility that we all know needs to be done during this time, I think that we'll have a quick recovery, and that we will be bouncing back and hustling and bustling, and we'll have tourists here, and hotels will be thriving, and I foresee a good future for us.
Yeah, you can take it back probably
That's
tomorrow.
pretty much the update that I have. I don't know if there's any questions. I've talked a lot about a lot of different programs, so feel free to jump in, Ali.
Great, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Christina. I'm just curious, out of my own interest, how is the flow of business looking downtown? Are you seeing the offices starting to reopen and that foot traffic returning, or is it still fairly, no scooters on the side? It's just still not a lot of scooters running around, because it was Scooter City for a while, right?
Right. There is foot traffic. We do have 100,000 residents that live in downtown. So a lot of what we see is the locals. But I will say that slowly businesses have been coming back, more so now in the last couple of weeks than previous. Mm-hmm. A lot of restaurants have been open slowly as well. So you'll see a lot of foot traffic, people coming during lunch hour and things of that nature. I tend to be in the central business district a lot. But when I do go over to Brickell, for instance, there's people on the street. I mean, people are walking around, walking their dogs, riding their bikes. And so there is foot traffic. It's not as crowded as it was pre-pandemic, but definitely starting to see it pick up again.
It sounds like a perfect opportunity for locals to get out and enjoy, whereas before I was like, oh, it's a little too busy, right? So now.
Yeah, definitely.
I just want to give a shout out to the team, especially the folks who are on your ambassador team, because whether I'm driving through downtown or at the office or seeing them at a Miami Begins With Me training, they do an amazing job. They are very proactive with helping people. When that trash starts to overflow, they are there and they get that trash. I mean, it really adds to the appeal of the downtown corridor. So they're doing a great job, and I applaud the whole team.
Thank you. Love them. They're amazing. We have about 40 downtown enhancement team workers. They're the ones in the yellow shirts that do that work that you're describing. And then our ambassadors are in the orange shirts, and they're just pretty much like an added security, eyes and ears. And they've just been amazing throughout. They have been our essential workers during this pandemic, and really have been out there while we've all been at home. So really kudos to them. And thank you for highlighting that, because they are a really important team and part of downtown.
So Christina, you've talked a lot about what the DDA does. Why don't you talk a little bit about the involvement in getting businesses down here, which I think is so important, and it's experiencing so much success, not only in the finance sector, but also in the tech sector.
Sure. Thank you, Alicia. And Alicia serves on our board, so thank you very much. So we've been working over the last 10 years to recruit finance firms in particular into the downtown area. Downtown is one of the largest economic engines in all of Florida. We're a $38 billion economic. So lately, what we've been working on is not only finance firms, but also tech companies. And so pre-pandemic, we're flying to California, to New York, New Jersey, the Northeast, in that area, recruiting the various finance firms to come down, because people are starting to see not only the tax law changes that they're experienced there, and that's causing kind of an influx, but also just the quality of life that we have here. We have the largest concentration of cultural institutions now than anywhere else in South Florida. We have various amenities from transit and getting around free on our Metro Mover and things of that nature that others around in New York and things in places like that really find appealing, not to mention our beautiful weather, our gorgeous views, our gorgeous beaches. So it's been a very, very successful recruitment initiative. We've been able to bring about, I would say over the past year, about 14 companies down, and it's been highly successful, and they're everything from tech companies to finance firms. Some bigger named companies have been reaching out to us over the pandemic because of the density in some of these big cities like New York, for instance, and living in those dense populations during the pandemic. I think a lot of these folks are looking at Miami as an option, more space, more, the ability to go outside, to go to a park, to go to the beach, things of that nature are becoming more and more appealing for folks. And so because of that, we've been working with several different companies over the last, I would say, 2 weeks. We've talked to 30 different companies. And so it's been highly successful, and lots of good news coming in the coming weeks from those efforts. So thank you, Alicia.
And I know that one of the things that they're highlighting is how Miami has become a great talent pool. And we have so many great education centers in downtown. So what's happening with that? What's happening with Miami-Dade and FIU and all the other campuses that we have, and how are they responding to the reopening?
So they are definitely united in the sense that they all get on a call and work towards the recovery and what that means. Definitely the talent pool here has grown, and we're seeing that. The companies that we're talking to are telling us that. So I think finally we're at a place where we can begin that ecosystem of talent and what needs to happen from there. And really the companies that are coming here are becoming part of that solution. We're connecting our different firms that we talk to the universities, and creating programs in the universities that train the students to have the knowledge that they need to enter the workforce in those various finance jobs. And so that initiative continues. And I forgot to mention, as part of our business recruitment efforts, our board, and thanks to the board for this, they actually allocated $200,000 of our budget for incentives. And so we're also able to offer incentives up to $50,000 a business if they're bringing more than 10 employees or more here. And it's $500 per employee up to $50,000, which is going to be a very interesting carrot to provide to some of these firms that are coming that may need build out of space and things of that nature. We also work very closely with the city in expediting the permitting for these businesses. So we handhold the businesses soup to nuts for whatever they need at the city. In some cases, we've even created a small task force to help them navigate those processes, because as we all know, that can sometimes get challenging here. And so we try to handhold these businesses through that process, working with the city to get them open as soon as possible. So those have been really great partnerships, and actually through the pandemic, really have been able to streamline the permit process with the city. So it's really been an opportunity for technology, the city to kind of advance, and the infrastructure to advance during this time, to be able to do things virtually, has opened doors to expediting all different types of processes. So thank you for bringing that up, Alicia.
So, and speaking of expediting,
Go ahead. I just wanted to apologize. They warned me the cable might go out this morning, and sure enough, I had to dial in from my hotspot. So I'm back, but go ahead. Sorry about that.
Okay. So I just jumped in because I know that you
Please,
wanted
yes, please.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, so Christina, now for the hard questions. Nativo sits right between Brightline and the port. And as we know, the port and the cruise industry is the #1 driver of heads on beds in our hotels in downtown. And what updates can you bring us about the cruise industry and Brightline, and how is that reactivating? Any news for us on that?
So I don't have an update on the Brightline yet, but I will say the cruise ships, and if Bill's on, he might be able to chime in as well. This is his side of things. They say 30 days. Within 30 days, we'll start having cruise ships come back in. So that's exciting, obviously safely, and making sure that they're doing all the protocols in place for that. I foresee Brightline very soon as well, as the mayor has been reopening. I think it's more on their side of things, and a business model, what they're trying to accomplish during this time has been kind of the holdup, but it seems like they're going to also be providing service soon. I just don't know exactly when. So stay tuned for that.
So, and the little kid in me has been on bated breath waiting for the Ferris wheel to open. What is going on with that? When can we go for a ride?
Yeah, I'm so excited to jump on it too. I had mixed feelings about it when I first kind of saw it going up, and now that it's there, it's just so beautiful. The lights at nighttime really just accentuate the city and just provide that extra kind of, light on what we already have. And so, yeah, I'm not sure when the opening is, but we'll find out for you about that. I imagine, within the coming couple of weeks, we'll start hearing more and more openings that the county will be issuing. And this is one of them because it's a enclosed, it's a gondola. I think that was kind of the challenge. It's a very unique situation, but I will definitely get back to you on that. Hopefully I can get an answer at our meeting at 2:00.
So somebody was asking about, with so many components in Nativa, what were we most excited about? And so I think what we're most excited about is that the city has matured to a point where it actually can sustain and in fact needs a building that brings all these components together. And at the risk of having Swire think I've lost my mind, I sometimes refer to Nativo as a mini Brickell City Center, because not unlike Brickell City Center, we have an office component, we have a residential component, we have a food and beverage component, we have a gym and wellness component that's going in there. So it really speaks to the fact that our city has evolved at a point where we now have a concentration of population that has a need to come together in one place and make things easier. So we were talking about, the city coming back to life, and for all of the horror of the pandemic, I've been out a lot, and I've been in my office a lot, and I've been moving around downtown a lot. And I have to tell you, it's just delightful to be able to get around with zero traffic and no stressors in that way. So I think that that may be a reason why the scooters aren't being used, because scooters are a solution to traffic. There is no traffic.
The city had to extend the pilot, so we may be seeing scooters back in the very near future.
Great, because I think it adds to the life and the joy. So at Nativo, we bring all these components together. The fact that we're bringing in a club, which is going to be for the use of all of the residents and the guests of the property, is fantastic. But it's also a private club that will be open to our community who wants to join. And this, again, it becomes more necessary as a city becomes a major player. And as the city gets more full and it gets harder to get reservations and it gets harder to do all of the things that we took for granted in Miami, well, then to have a club that will be your own, that, they'll know you at the front door, you'll have your table, they'll know what you like to eat, etc., is the kind of thing that we're looking to offer. And while we can't release the hotel brand yet, because somebody asked the question, it's nice to know. I've traveled and I've stayed at Airbnb and I've stayed with my family, my daughter and the kids and all of that. But comes a time when let her and her husband and the grandkids do whatever they want. Personally, I want to go to a bar, have a drink, and talk to another adult. And so here, the fact that we have the residences combined with the hotel guests and this bar and entertainment and all of that allows you to do both when you're visiting a city. So I think that that's a very unique component that it brings. And then finally, the fact that you have an office space there, that you can have an office, have your staff here, but if you live somewhere else, you can have your unit and stay there when you're in town and have it get monetized for you when you're not. So it's a very cool product that it provides a lot of answers. And Ali, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. Ali La Madrid Pacey.
Yeah, with all the alleys here. No, I think
Yeah.
that's, yeah, what she said. but joking aside, I think what I'm very excited about is that, it will be nice to have more kind of choices. And as we see our downtown fill in and come to life, and we have so many great entrepreneurs in our urban core, etc., it's also nice to see entrepreneurs from Miami Beach saying oh, maybe instead of doing something else on Miami Beach, we should do something in downtown. And
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's a big thing. I think Nativo Social, our social club, is something that Miami Beach didn't get, so that's a big win. And it's people starting to go out more in downtown as opposed to crossing the bridge always, the olden days as we, so that's, I think, also a big thing.
I love this added amenity for our downtown community, because you're right, Ali. We are seeing people want to hang out in downtown. There's so much to do. It's so vibrant. even now with the pandemic, you go to a restaurant, you know, at night, it's pretty packed. I mean, there's days that I'm like, okay, this is great. Social distancing obviously is important, but this is a really great added amenity for downtown right now. So thank you all for bringing it.
And the other thing also is that it brings a level of affordability, you know, because the units are starting in the mid 300s. And so in a city that we all know that cost is becoming increasingly a factor, it's nice to have something that opens doors for more people. And, you know, I'm kind of bookending downtown because we have Nativo with an entry price of the 350 more or less, and it maxes out at about $1.5 million of the penthouses. And then just a few blocks away at Aston Martin, you have an entry price of about 900,000 and it maxes out at 50 million. It talks to the diversity of our downtown area and the diversity of the opportunities that downtown offers. And I think it speaks to a neighborhood in a city that just works, because we all come together and we don't need to live in you know, restricted enclaves, but rather have a place that really, really works. And that's what makes a neighborhood fun and exciting.
Awesome. I apologize again that I can't see the old chat questions, but I understand that most of the questions in the chat were already answered. Is that correct? I think, Alicia?
You know, one thing that Ali, I think didn't mention, and I guess I'm on the cusp of what we're allowed to talk about and not allowed to talk about.
Sure.
But there is this whole wellness component that's being incorporated into the building to deal more specifically with the virus and the virus really and beyond, right? Because I think we're all becoming hyper aware of the quality of the air in the inside spaces. So opening windows is important, but there's also new technology that has come out that can be incorporated in the air filtering system to make places safer. So the fact that the pandemic did catch us at a time before we started building has allowed us the ability to incorporate a lot of these new technologies and these new features, cutting edge and at a much more affordable price point, so that means that it will not be a huge add-on to our buyers, but rather just incorporate it as a new standard, if you will, in the same way that being green became a standard. I think being healthier is going to be a standard as well, and we're going to be one of the first buildings delivering with this new standard, which I think is very exciting also.
Great. So we have a couple of questions that I see now. Two for Nativo specifically. So Ali or Alicia, either of you. One is, and I'll do the questions together so you can answer them both. One is from one of our hotel partners asking about the hotel. How many rooms are you projecting to have, and what's kind of the look and feel for that? And also on the other side of the spectrum, the private club opportunity. Why do you feel that now is a good time to bring that type of element, social club, to the downtown area?
So I'll start with the social club. Now is like a very relative term in pre-construction. So our building, I guess I'll answer a third question that, you know, was also in the chat from before. Our building, we're anticipating our building's going to be completed towards the end of 2023. So now is really then. So yeah, I think that it's always a good time to remind everybody of how much of a growing and exciting downtown we have, and that, you know, the downtown of today is not going to be the downtown of 5 years from now. And I think that talking about a great social club with all of the kind of, my mom was talking mostly about wellness, and I read through some of like the proposed stuff that they were looking at putting into the building, and it's like, you know, bipolar ionization and, you know, UV light filtering the air, and then how they're dealing with there's a lot of like very advanced post-pandemic world integration that will go into this building, and I'm sure a lot of other buildings. And I think that, you know, it's a great time to look forward and to, you know, plan on how we can be, you know, as responsible as possible, and also give people back a sense of community and a sense of place. I mean, if we were opening the social club today, it may be okay, not the best time, but like since it's so far pre-construction, I think that it's a great time. And in terms of the hotel, it's going to be 100 room hotel. That's
100.
kind of what the number that they've settled on. And it's going to be, you know, also delivered in 2023. So they're working through exactly what the look and feel and vibe is going to be, but it's going to be hotel-like, you know.
Mhm. Mhm. Very cool. Thank you again. Christina, on the Miami DDA side, there's a couple of questions that I'm seeing here. You may see them also. One is if an organization is interested in connecting with the DDA for an event program, grant opportunities, that sort of thing, what's the best way for them to do that? And also the Downtown Miami Tourism Report, is there an updated report that would be in the website sometime soon? Also coming in from a hotel.
Sure. Thank you for the question. So yes, please follow us on social media at Downtown MIA on all channels, and sign up for our newsletter on our website at www.miamidda.com, because through those various channels, so to speak, you'll see updates that we give out regularly related to everything that we're working on and what's happening in the community. Grants we haven't issued yet because of the pandemic. We're gearing up to get there, but we also want to be mindful of the times and respectful of the county's orders and all of that. So yes, we're going to be doing events. So stay tuned on when. I would say the next couple of months we'll probably be issuing our grant program. And this is for activations that would activate anywhere throughout downtown. And we give up to $5,000 per grant to do that. Typically, in some cases more, depending on the project and things of that nature, but there is a grant application process. We usually do it twice a year, but like I said, pandemic and COVID has caused us to pause. Stay tuned and follow us on our social media channels for that and on our website. And then the second question was?
Well, while it gets unfrozen, I can also invite everyone to visit our sales gallery. We are open, and of course we have all of the guidelines in place to keep people safe. And Allie, do you have the address there on hand for the office? And
Yes,
maybe
I
you
can
share the
include it in
website.
the chat.
Yeah.
It's 1040 Biscayne Boulevard. I'm typing it in right now. And we're on the 3rd floor,
And the office is open daily from 10 to
10 to 6.
and weekends 11 to 5. There is both self-parking and valet parking, so we try to make it easy. And we're hoping as things open up to be able to start doing what we did before all of this, which is partner with different organizations. If you want to have a meeting there, if you want to bring in a small group, if you just are curious and are, you know, as a member of our neighborhood to go in and take a look, we.
Alicia froze now.
A bottle of water and hopefully, you know, we can start looking at each other's faces and exchanging ideas again soon without everything having to be so structured and far away, you know. So
I have
I
a
think
feeling.
the last question for me was about the tourism report, right?
Mhm.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yes. So we issued a tourism report now, I want to say a couple years back. So yeah, one of the most important things that the DDA does is research. We'll probably be doing a office report residential first, and then doing that tourism report next. But it is in the pike of reports that we'll be updating now with the pandemic recovery, what that means for our economy as a whole. And so we're right now working on our office study scope. And so we should be issuing something within the next quarter around that. And yes, eventually doing a tourism report.
Great. Can you guys hear me? I'm not sure if I'm still frozen or not. Hello?
we can hear
I
you.
can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Because I all I see is Christina frozen on my screen. There we go. I apologize. This is the first time in 6 months I've had any issues, but I guess it was bound to happen. I'm going to quickly try and get to the trivia unless anyone has any other questions before I freeze up again. Hopefully I won't freeze up when the answers are coming in. But if any questions do come in, of course, we can still answer them as they come in. But let's go ahead and get to our first trivia question. We have 3 amazing Miami DDA gift packs that will be mailed to each winner. So we have 3 historical questions. Everyone is eligible, Bill, but you know what I'm saying. So again, to answer the questions,
Love
please
you, Bill.
send me your answer on the chat. Again, these were submitted from the DDA, and I'm sorry that I got to pull them up here. My phone froze. Okay. So our first question is, in 1891, a Cleveland woman named Julia Tuttle moved to South Florida to make a new start after her life of the death of her husband, Frederick Tuttle. She purchased 640 acres on the north bank of what in present-day downtown Miami? All right, Kevin, you're our winner. Congratulations. That's right, the Miami River. All right, so Kevin, you are our first prize winner. Syria, make note. We will get your address separately. Okay. Oh, I love this one. The Miami DDA co-produced which event held during the pandemic to raise money for COVID-19 relief, while also providing residents with a first-hand look at a globally charged event from their own balcony. Who was the performer? Hey, Herlinda, you go, girl. She's hip, she's hip. Okay, Herlinda got that one. It was David Guetta. So some of you may remember that fantastic balcony scene where he did that set and it was worldwide. It was a great idea, and I would love to see things like that happen again, of course, in person.
We're working on it. Stay tuned.
Awesome. All right. So congratulations, Herlinda. We will get you that fun prize pack. And our last question, now I see 4 questions, but I think we just had 3 prize packs, or did we have 4 prize packs? Well,
I think it's 3. Just
Okay.
Yeah, choose one.
Okay. Name the location that is walking distance from Nativo, Miami, that hosts several A-list concerts, family shows, sporting events, national conferences, and is home to the 2020 NBA. Okay. Yeah, I don't even have to answer that question. Eastern Conference Finals champions. That was a gimme, right? All right. Well, we'll get Peggy, congratulations from our Courtyard Marriott downtown. Great longtime partners of ours. Congratulations, Peggy. All right. So that concludes the fantastic gift prizes from the Miami DDA. Again, we'll contact you for your mailing address and get them out to you. And then last but not least, we have a fantastic $100 gift card, compliments of LDV Hospitality, who again, they have Dolce on the beach and many other wonderful brands, and they'll be their partner at Nativo. So for $100, Ali, did you want to ask the question? Because I wasn't real sure if you wanted me to go with my question or your question.
You can go with your question. Whatever
Okay.
stood out, because when you see the presentation, it's hard to know what kind of stands out the most.
If you were paying attention, you should remember this because they have beautiful designs. Who is the partner doing the interior designs for the Nativo project? Can anyone remember? No, not Arquitectonica. Deanne has the first word, so we'll give it to you. Or the second word, Urban Robot. That's it, Deanne.
Yeah.
You and me are going to Dolce. I mean, you have won a $100 gift card to Dolce. So we will get your address and send that out to you. That's correct, Urban Robot. So I can't wait to get a tour of the actual Nativo property when it opens. And in the meantime, definitely follow the Miami DDA for all of their great updates and programs coming up. I do have couple other quick housekeeping notes. I just want to share a few notes from our team, but first let's all give a quick, before I get frozen again, a round of applause to our friends at Cervera, and bless you, and Alicia, Ali, and of course to our fantastic partners at the Miami DDA, Christina and Kim, for helping us arrange everything for the prize packs, and to everyone who joined us today. So if you didn't see the invitation for our annual meeting, we're excited to return to in-person events. October 21st, we'll be hosting the GMCVB annual meeting at the fantastic Miami Beach Convention Center, reopened for business. It is free this year, so we encourage you to join us. You can come in person or you can join us virtually. It will be from 10 to noon on the 21st, which is 2 weeks away from today. So we're continuing to get ready for that. Please join us. We do have some sponsor packages if anyone wants to get some additional visibility in front of the fantastic tourism industry. We welcome your support. And We will not have a coffee and conversation next week because I will be very busy getting ready for annual meeting, but we look forward to seeing you on the 21st. And then at the end of the month, on the 28th, we're going to resume with our weekly coffee and conversations, and we'll be featuring the fantastic W South Beach Hotel, which will be reopening at the end of the month. And they are very excited to showcase their new dining outlets and all the new things that they've done. They've remodeled, and it's going to be fantastic to see what they've got going on. So again, thank you for joining us. Unless there's any other questions or anything else that, let me see if any other questions. Yep, looks like everybody's just happy, and thank you for all the updates again to the Cervera team. And Susie from Levy, I would be remiss not to thank you so much for coordinating all of the meetings and getting us all organized here. So thank you, Susan, also, and for the questions. So again, thank you, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but thanks for joining us. And again, if you need anything, our team is happy to help you anytime. And I also am happy to help you with anything at all.
You're amazing partners. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for putting this together.
Yeah, thank you all.
you.
And both the DDA and the Chamber, you guys do an amazing job and helping us get the business of business done. So thank you very much.
We would be happy to share updates anytime and all the time through our newsletters, do another one of these when we get close to opening, or actually, let's do it in person, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll look forward to that in-person reception soon. I'd love to see the social club and all those other great spaces. So again, thank you for everybody joining us, and have a great day. Stay safe.
Thank
Mask-
you.
Thank you. Bye.